think we will not be disappointed. This series will live up to the hype. These squads will go back and forth, and I think we will see map number 5 in this series. Folks, we're heading into map number 1. It's Control on District, Vanquish versus eUnited. Let us know in the chat who you representing. Here we go.
Well, I'd like early on Precision really going inside of this hill, trying to get that flash out. I love the fact that eUnited played back and went for the damage play. They went for the counter. They went for the counter punch. Precision now in a 1v1. The longer he gets this to stall out, the better the situation for Vanquish. Because look, Vanquish has won a couple of the fights across the map. They have the ability to get that 90-degree angle on Powerz. They're going to be able to get that first hill under the control quite easily, and that's thankful to those 1v1s one in the middle of the map.
And by Precision able to just kind of stay alive there in that situation, he had the meat shield. He knew he can keep the fight neutral and just allow his teammates to focus on the players coming off a respawn. Gave them a lot of peace in that situation, as well as this boom shot. And Xysho's performance is giving the fans of Vanquish a little bit of peace with them controlling this hill currently. One player down on the other side of that cover. Powerz with flames in front of him can't do much from this scenario, and he knows that this is not his fight. He's just going to disengage and let VQ have the rest of his time. But as we see down low, Colin, eUnited already making a move for next.
Well, eUnited kind of knows that this is going to be a wash. If they go straight into that hill, they're going to continue to basically fly at somebody being able to just Lancer out, get the damage on him. This is one of the things that I think VQ has done fantastically on District. They've been able to control the CQC hill in the back of the band, in front of the bandstand and in the back of the cinema. It's those corner hills that eUnited really has to win.
Yeah, eUnited, if they, I feel like those are going to be the money hills as well. And even when it comes down towards their escalation setups, I feel like their home hill to home hill setup is really strong for them, and they know how to play this bottom area of the map on District, so they can use those same setups here in Control as well. We currently got the boys of VQ pushing through the spawn, and they're forcing this fight for eUnited back towards the stairs, a little bit closer towards Pergola and Juice. And for them, they feel like they have the perfect setup, especially with picking up a kill towards mid-map. VQ, they're in a fantastic position to collect the rest of this time, and eUnited has to ask themselves, do we want to start moving towards ATM now? But they definitely don't want to, folks. There's 40 seconds on this hill, all right? So eUnited, this is a big fight for them to win with only 2 points on the board. They shall start accumulating a bit more once they clean up these kills.
I was going to say, you talk about whether or not they want to possibly start rotating over. I look at this hill right here with 40 seconds left. You give up that's 120 to maybe... So 120 to 2, 120 to 15.
You definitely don't want to ever do that.
You cannot give up them 40 seconds. I don't care how good you are or what you got in the back corner. You better figure out how to get this first kill. Explosive right here with a double kill would be massive. He's only going to pick up Precision, but he hits himself a little bit, puts himself in the danger zone. I love the down and the left alone by Praized on the opposite side of the map. That player might get revived. He ends up dying off before you can get there. But Praized leaves him down because it basically forces them to spawn back out over toward that hill. They're going to get that player to spawn right back up across the top side of the map, which now they know the information is there. They know the intel's there. They can pinch out these 2 players, get 2 more kills to their name, and then really focus on the hill and that control. This is just perfect play right here on this hill rotation.
If you've never seen a Picasso, you could have taken a screenshot of that moment right there just a second ago, and it would have been similar, folks, okay? That setup there for eUnited, the crossfire, was just golden. And at this point, look at the mini-map. As Colin mentioned out, those players are spawning all the way on the other side of the map. eUnited has the intel, and as time is running out on this hill, they're slowly backing up their defenses if they have to, and making it that much harder for VQ. And with Vanquish only having 1 pair of utility grenades coming off the respawn, they have to choose to use them wisely, and they just cannot get through this setup. They're currently trapped in eUnited, man. They have been able to just angle these boys out, and they can't do anything about it.
Not one thing they can do about it. There's the catch up. There's the overtaking the points as well. The next till is down at bandstand. Our linchpin player, Kenny, is in there already. He's playing the backside of the bandstand. His next situational play is going to have to be worried about this retake across the bottom. And I think what he has to worry about more than anything is that player in Juice that might be able to lancer him up if he decides to take that right hand and kill people as they slide into it. Hndles is going to have kind of an open shot at him, but you see Hndles' attention. His attention is fully on that boom shot right now. They know losing the power weapon is going to lose them the initial on the hill, so they've got to keep basically one eye on one eye on the other, looking a lot like that man out of Mr. D's that eventually got a red Lamborghini.
Oh, man. You can do it. All right, but just don't go down there and get that weapon. There's Powerz, okay? You got a leg up and an L trigger waiting for you as he connects with a decent shot there, but he knows that he can wrap this cover, control the fight. Help will come through, but they get jumbled in the moment, and VQ will eat them alive. Boom shot in their favor, 2 down. They know where their next 2 targets are going to be on their hit list, and eUnited, they disengage, is trying to see if they can take a few to the grave, but Vanquish knows that they have to stagger the deaths, control the pace of this round, because over these last 2 hills, Colin, eUnited, they've had some solid holds, and that's why they got the lead now.
Let's be honest, though. I love Kenny. I know he's a great player, but if all 4 players from Vanquish are coming at you at one time, they need an emote to put your hands up. They need a white flag emote. Just, all right, I'm sorry, I surrender. I didn't mean it. I see all 4 of you coming at me at one time. This ain't gonna end well for me. Kenny did his damnedest. He had 3 good shots on one player, but I don't think he had an Ice Cube's chance in hell to get any of them kills.
Nah, definitely not. It was a steamy situation here. All right. Now, as you look at the mini map, the dust has settled. We are waiting for this next hill to transition, and it's a quiet moment currently on District. You can hear the crickets in the background, the wind blowing, but it's about to break out, and what's about to break out is going to be chaos here. As you see eUnited spread across the top portion of the map, you got cinema control, you got spawn control, and I'm loving this setup. They don't mind trying to isolate these 1v2s, but Power may have overstayed his welcome. They're going to let him think about his decision there, as they know that they have a 4v3. Vanquish, that is, as they're trying to push up towards the spawn. Acells goes down on top of the hill. Player 3 being Hndles didn't have enough help on that side, but I don't know if he actually needed the help. Xysho, can he clean up? Him versus Xplosive. Precision's coming in for the help, and Xplosive says he's going to disengage, play his life. He knows the help is coming from ATM soon. And Vanquish is not getting any points with him contesting this. These players of VQ had to get that kill quicker.
Yeah, and Xplosive actually eats a little bit of a boom shot right there. So does his teammate. They both get heavily damaged, which makes that next fight easy. I want everybody in the chat to realize what Precision did with that boom shot. He held on to that one rocket for a minute and a half, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for them to not only have hill control, but for there to be multiple bogeys in the area for him to try to take down. He ends up getting a lot of damage on 2 tangos. Not a wasted rocket at all. Even though he doesn't get either kill, it allows them to get 2 one-shot downs, 2 straight kills to continue to control that hill. That is trigger discipline. That is belief and relief in your teamwork at all times. And I love seeing a player that's willing to do that for his squad.
And, you know, I also love that the drop shot and a boom shot only has 1 shell in it, because you really have to decide when you want to use that weapon. And we can kind of see the thought process of these players, and you really see who gets maximum value out of it. And so I did agree. I like that boom shot that he shot there in the corner. But now the next fight's breaking out here down at the hotel. Acells connected with some shots. The damage is there. And talk about value from a boom shot. Xysho says, Blaze, I got you. I hear you talking about it. He's going to be able to clean up the kills. Hotel's locked in for VQ, and it's a lot of time there, and they already have another kill on the board. eUnited is currently staggered. They're going to have to slow this one down unless somebody can make a play.
I really love the way that both of these teams have started to kind of set the meta on District, where it's a little bit of an early rotation, followed by just precision and power teamwork inside of the hill. They know how good their shotgun ability is. They know there's not many teams that can stand up to them, and they know what kind of close quarters fights these 4 corners are. Not to mention the cinema area hill. Speaking of precision and power play, that man right there with another double kill to his name, taking out Powerz in the second shot. Okay. Praized was finally able to get a kill on him, but I mean, think about all the time that's been wasted for them to actually kill Precision, get 1 other kill. There's 20 seconds left on this. It's 200 to 160 at that point. Praized is going to have a lot of damage done to him. Kenny is thankfully there to help finish that kill off. I think you need to leave Praized there. take some of this trash time, get up to about 150, close that lead to about 50 seconds, and then try to hold off this first wave of retake by Vanquish inside of the cinema. The flashes are going to come out early. I think they know that they were waiting in that hill, so the pressure is going to come through very quickly. Powerz is going to be full red. He's got Xplosive with him. He tries to bank that flash grenade off, but it's not going to go anywhere quickly. These two players from Vanquish are going to find some positioning at that light post, and this is going to be a big 2v2 fight here at the back of the cinema.
Oh, Acells off his left hand found the perfect opportunity to pick up 2 kills. Precision had to lose his life in the process, but it is VQ acquiring points away. Hndles taking that player out of juice. He's going to be able to get a boom shot and some mid-map control for his squad. There's still a lot of time when it comes down to this hill. And at this moment, you know, if I'm on the side of eUnited, I'm asking myself, how can we get VQ to waste this boom? We don't want them to hold on to this as long as they can. So eUnited needs to get into the fight now, make VQ feel uncomfortable, pick up some kills, or they just get they're gonna get a shot like that, so it booms out. And I think that works out for eUnited, but they will lose this fight, and they're gonna have to come off and respawn quick and get themselves in position.
And what they're going to have to do is not only worry about the point differential, but they're going to have to worry about trash time. They're going to have to worry about initial play. This is the situation that no team wants to find themselves in control. A lot of the times you can keep it close enough to where, you know, I might be able to give up those 5-10 seconds at the end of the hill. I might be able to over-rotate at 15 to 20 seconds. eUnited now finds himself in a position where every fight counts. Every single shot is going to have to go your way. You're down by about 100 points, and you've got to find yourself 46 straight points before Vanquish does, because they are 46 seconds away from a victory here in this map number 1.
Oh, man. And, you know, for the saving grace of eUnited fans, when you think early on in the game and they built most of their lead, it was this hill, ATM, and down low at Bandstand where they acquire majority of their points. So here in the late game, they're back in those same scenarios, and they can lean back on that confidence they had in terms of this map. We'll see if it works on, because you know, I talked about them and eUnited being similar squads when we kicked off this show, and I think that they're a squad that's always evolving in the present moment. They are paying attention to what their opponent is doing. The communication is there, and you know, every single player knows what role they have on this squad, and I'm loving their setup currently on the map. But AQ, they says, hey, we don't have to win off this hill. We'll keep it neutral. You guys push us. And we're about to see eUnited try to execute this play.
Well, eUnited also has to leave all 4 players here. Another thing that people don't think about that Vanquish has a little bit of an advantage with is if Vanquish loses only 1 player, they can rotate out toward middle. You can still play for power weapons if you're Vanquish because of that score line. If you're eUnited, all 4 players got to be in that fight, baby. You can't leave nobody out there trying to overwatch boom just in case. You got to make sure you solidify the hill. You got to make sure you solidify the kills. Then you play for those power weapons, because if you give up any more time, you find yourself in one of the hardest positions ever, and that's trying to play up against and in the face of Vanquish.
Oh man, what a beautiful execution from eUnited when it came down to them taking out VQ at the arcade. But at this moment, VQ knows that, you know what, we got to make sure that we rotate early for next. And honestly, with that hill being a stalemate as long as it did, you know, it kind of worked out for Vanquish. But now they have to win this team fight. They know that eUnited is still going to be the aggressors, but in this moment, Vanquish just needs 1 kill. If they can get that kill, they can cause complete chaos on this hill throughout the later portions of this map, and I think with them having control now, they'll be able to win it out. But we'll see what happens, because eUnited is always creative when it comes down to breaking these setups, and they got 2 members on the window. They know Acells is here. Oh, the flank from the door. Who's watching it? Player 1 is letting Praized get free shots here. VQ flustered in the corner, taking shots from the side. The flame grenades come through. They connect on 2 kills, and now the setup comes crumbling down. Precision did not have the angle that he needed, and Praized, with a Lancer out, did exactly what his team needed.
And real quick, I want everybody to understand, Hndles dropped that boom shot earlier. He threw that rocket out just to make sure he secured a kill through the middle of the map. I really think that's the difference in what Hndles could have been able to do if he had kept that boom, if he was able to hold on to it one last time. Hndles and then plays bodyguard for Acells as long as he can. Tries to save him from going third down and out. But the kills are coming through right now for Vanquish. They're back inside of the hill. They're down to just 30 seconds to go. And this hill has got just enough time for them to really make Vanquish sweat it out, because they could win off of this hill. They could come away with the victory right here, right now. eUnited, they have to fly, and they have to try to buy themselves a kill or two. But Acells with that boom could very well shut this down.
We may see another one.
Is over. No, I don't think we'll see another one.
With that boom being missed, it comes down to this fight on the hill. 9 seconds on the clock. It needs to get contested. One player in. Can he bounce around in time? He goes out. And it's going to be Vanquish on the final second of the ATM hill, able to lock in map number 1. It wasn't easy by no part, but VQ, man, at the end there, they made it look smooth, Colin.
I mean, one of the things that people don't remember, or I say people don't remember, people forget, when you get Hndles and Acells that they decide to just take over one side of the map, they're going to bounce up a hallway, they're going to bounce up a corridor. If they find a 2v1, it's not like that thing is delayed out. It's not like you're going to take a while to get that kill and you've got time to get your teammate over into the area. Hndles and Acells come around the corner and you're stuck at the other end of that corridor. Find an exit. Find it quickly. Act like there's a fire. Act like you got to get out of there and save life and limb, because they are not going to take their time trying to set up on you, go wide. They both have the mechanical skill. They both have the movement. They both have the shot-hitting ability to get a victory in those fights very quickly and force you to lose them. And now you're down 4-3, and they got an extra man in the fight.
And you know what? They are so good at assessing their numbers and winning those fights quickly, and they understand the importance of it, that you know, it's going to be an engagement that they get into that they can't really discuss. And it's honestly, it's a vibe, okay? The guy in the front knows his role, that he has to go out wide, make room for his teammates to come in and help him. And you know what? That's a vibe and it's chemistry that you build with your teammates over time. And Colin, those boys definitely got it. That's a duo right there in Hndles and Acells. We see them a lot. I know I get to see them every Friday on Astro Battles. And it's a reason why they're as dominant as they are. And those skill sets translate over towards the Pro League as well. But you know, take a look at this map, and there was a portion of it as we came down towards our first cycle of hills where eUnited had the lead. It looked like they had a good foothold, but towards the mid and the late game, what came crumbling down for eUnited there, Colin?
eUnited's their best and their worst ability is how talented all four of their players are. It's their best ability because they can kind of spread the map out. They can make you try to take 1v1s against one of the 4 best players on the planet. It's also their Achilles heel because, all right, we're going to put Powerz out here on an island out on the far left of the hill and hope that he can make a miracle happen. Well, now Hndles and Acells are going to push him, take that 2v1. Even if the other 2 players for Vanquish, all they're doing is lancering, they're just pushing up, they're making movement decisions, not really positioning or kill players. What they're doing is they're keeping the other 3 players from eUnited a little distracted. It forces eUnited to either go for their help, and then they come off the hill, they lose their setup, and now they're not exactly able to lancer out and get downs as easily as they would have had they stayed in that setup, or you sacrifice a player, now you're down 4v3, and now you got to worry about somebody trying to get a big double kill here, try to pick up an extra down there. It is just a terrible situation for a team that is so talented. eUnited has had to make that decision a few times in Control. It's what used to lose them control maps on Regency. It's what now lost them a control map on District. And it's what continuously wins controls for a team like Vanquish, because they don't care about the setup, really. They know once they get into the hill, they force you to play into their strength. Once you get in the hill, it's like they're a red zone defense. They don't care if you go from 20 to 20 in one pass. They don't care if they give up a 60-yarder in the middle of the field to set you up in a red zone. Those last 20 yards are hell's half acre. They're going to bend. They are never going to break, and that's what is continuously winning Vanquish a lot of their control maps.
And even to add the sprinkles on that, their composure in certain situations and not to push, because we saw it a lot during our first control map, especially when it came down to our Pergola Hill and things slowed down where they were just trying to get set up and they were respecting eUnited's positioning. And as we'll talk about a little bit more as we get into this execution map, but you know, you think about the levels of learning control strategy from an amateur level to the professional level. And, step number one is that you guys want to win the fight and you want to go set up in your positions and what you talked about in scrims. Like, we want a guy here, we want a guy there, we want a guy here, and also over here. So you get the lances out and you wait for your opponent. But as you play more top teams and time goes on, you realize that you can push out that defense a little bit more as these guys are spawning up and make it that much more harder, taking other key power positions on the map for them to have to break forward and kind of worry about and not make the play so simple. So VQ has learned how to be aggressive and push forward those different layers of defense there against their opponent. And also at the same time, when they go up against a team like eUnited where they have to respect them, they know that, okay, this is as far as we can go. This is the perfect setup for us. We were pushed out far enough. Our lance is out. We got every single lane watch. Now let's hold and see how they can break. And I love that top tier competition when it comes down to control at this level.
Well, I got a little rebuttal to the Vanquish situation, and then I got a setup question to ask you after that. Vanquish to me is the perfect team. Vanquish to me embodies a saying that I use a lot on the golf course and that a lot of people try to use when they learn a new skill in life. And it is literally it's an analogy, or I say an analogy, it's the word KISS. KISS stands for keep it stupid simple. Not keep it simple stupid. You're not stupid for not knowing the skill. You keep it stupid simple, as in you keep it at the most baseline, most easily understandable situation possible. Vanquish does that because they know what their power positions are and they know how good they are on the CQC. So they force everybody to play into that. They are not going to go and try to play somebody else's game. They set up that same rotation every time. They want you to play into the hill. They want you to play up in their face because they know it's the thing that they can win the easiest in that situation. On the flip side, eUnited drops control last night in map number 1. They've dropped control again in map number 1 tonight, but they're keeping up with these teams. Is that a scary thought going forward, especially when we get into a mid-split playoff or a major, that a team that talented, even though they keep dropping these maps, are staying up? You could tell it's their weakest rotational, it's their weakest map in the rotate, or weakest game mode in the rotation, but they're continuing to catch up in the meta.
Hey, you know what? I think it is scary, and it's good that these guys are keeping up with the meta. And as time goes on, Colin, that's the type of squad that's just going to keep getting better and better as time goes on. So I expect nothing less, but to kind of hop into the chaos that's happening in round number 1 of Tomb, VQ winning their 2v2 fight on this side of the map. Xplosive came in to make a play, and he did just that, picking up a kill. That gets him the power weapon, but can he get cover? Yes, he will. 1v2 scenario. The bow is revved. He knows where one opponent is. Does not know Xysho's location just yet, but with an active in the chamber, he has to think quick. He can't allow his opponents to get positioning on him in this moment, so he will not stop revving this bow. He misses the blind fire and Hndles connects with the point blank.
I really love, again, Vanquish's ability to play around one another. They always try to find, I would say, an angle. They always find that next step up to try to find just any damage they can for one another, and it makes them so dangerous in all 3 game modes. Even Escalation, which they've struggled in, it has been a very, very hard press to find really a break in the armor of Vanquish. It's why they continue to be one of the best teams on the planet, split in and split out. I picked against them tonight, but it does not come easy to pick against that team in any way, shape, or form, in any situation.
Nah, it really is difficult. Even when you got eUnited on opposite end, you have to respect VQ's accolades over this last year. In this round, it's a 3v4 in favor of Vanquish. They're trying to take out Powerz, and they're going to successfully be able to do that and pick up the long shot as well. Only 2 members remaining of eUnited, and they cannot isolate any of these players out from Vanquish in this scenario. So that's 2 quick rounds for VQ. And I've been noticing picking up all these power weapons. But when it comes down to Tomb, we're starting to notice that a lot more squads are sitting players up top, Colin, and that the meta is starting to change on this map.
Well, the meta's starting to shift to where you have that extra frag up top. You can kind of take a 1v1 up there to try to put some pressure in that extra Lancer angle down toward the middle in those mid-round situations. The thing I want to point out, I don't know if anybody else caught this. Last night, Vanquish went down on this map. I believe at one point it was 4-0, maybe 4-1, and then 5-1.
It was
in the favor of
comeback,
and they just stomped out Team Case for the rest of this map. So Tomb on execution, I don't want to necessarily say it's like home field advantage, but they clearly feel confident on this map in any way, shape, or form, and in any situation they find themselves. this is going to be tough sledding for anybody that goes up against Vanquish on execution on Tomb.
I totally agree with you. I think all the individual lanes play into their skill set a lot. You know, I watched how Xysho was kind of mirroring Pale up top in that engagement, and understanding what type of plays this opponent can make based off the distance and when they kind of pick up that frag grenade. So it was nice watching him there versus Precision's 1v1 down low, Hndles the way he plays his 1v1 mid-map, and Acells, the way he floats around, it works out for them a lot. Now, eUnited, that was a fantastic round number 3 for them. Let's see if they can get this all tied up. We're playing man-to-man heading into round number 4. Hndles sees Praized there in the background, but knows that's not his target, making sure that Kenny is able to focus on him and not put too much damage on the back. But it seems like Hndles is kind of running this middle, putting damage on all 3 players, helping out his teammates, setting the pace for him. But it's eUnited who makes the first move, and Hndles has to watch his left. Crossfire comes through. Kenny cannot leave this position, working his cover very, very well. And Xplosive knows that he has to relieve the pressure. Couldn't get the double kill. The down is there. Kenny's cleaned up, and Powerz just at a stalemate, being held at a stalemate from Precision in this 1v1. He actually takes him down, Colin, but a 1v3, Powerz can do it, but not right now.
I can say Powerz kind of walked out of there. He's like, you know, I can do it, Blaze, but I'm
not
choosing not to. It's his choice not to try to take that 1v3. But also, I really love that pros to me are really setting a good pace and a good example. They are not allowing teams to kind of have 1v1s, kind of have their way where you know, a lot of players in ranked are going to call for a 1v1. They're gonna call you some names. They're gonna try to act like you're not big and bad because you decide not to take a 1v1 to win an execution round. You get the hell out of my room and you lock the door on the way out. And you hope the door doesn't hit you where the good Lord splits you. If you ever expect me not to help my teammate out in the very final moments like that and go wide, I'm not letting anybody take 1v1s. I'm trying to win these rounds out here, and I love the fact that Vanquish is setting that kind of example for everybody else on the planet.
Yeah, and they're doing a good job at it as well. And as you see in this round, it's going to be another one locked in for them. Actually, another round for eUnited locked in for them here. Is this going to be 2 to 3 for them? We'll see if they can climb back into it. Now, the last few times where eUnited played this map, they took a loss to Rebel 6-2. And when they played against Oxygen, they won it, but it actually went down to around 11. So it's been a close battle on this map or an L for them. And it seems like against Vanquish, that's not going to change at all either, because Vanquish, I still think that they have the pace of this map so far. Let's see what Acells can do here towards the middle. That's a great solid shot, and it keeps the aggression up. Tried to see if he tried to predict Xplosive hopping over that cover, but he resets. Precision's on his opponent's side of the map to the left, and Xplosive was able to look to his right, get a shot on him, and help Powerz win that fight. Now on the flip end, Xysho did get a power weapon for VQ. And with this down coming in through the middle, kill cleaned up, the wrap shot 1v1, back A doesn't connect, the fight resets for a brief moment, but Xysho gets baited in by Powerz, and eUnited ties it all up 3 to 3.
And that's the kind of thing that eUnited needs to do. You can't just continue to keep giving up rounds to the side of Vanquish on execution, especially when they can kind of play back then and really force you to make a mistake late into a game, late into a round, when they have that kind of a point lead. So eUnited, to me, doing the best job possible, staying into this, doing exactly what you have to do against a team like Vanquish. They are really putting on a clinic for teams that are trying to go up against Vanquish later on in this pro league, of how you can kind of stay into this, how you can kind of give your opponent all the headaches in the world by rotating through the middle of the map, which is what they've been successful with, and getting an extra Lancer angle early, not to mention Powerz. I mean, if you can win a 1v1 down to the bottom by the torque bow, that's just going to be gravy in the Navy.
And with this gravy, you know, happening here towards mid-map, it is a lot of blood, a lot of body parts, as we are down to the final 1v1 that is won by Powerz as he rotated through from the torque bow. It was just so much to happen, because when it comes down to Tomb, Colin, once the fight breaks out, everyone knows that they have to get into the mix, that they have to beat shoot. They need to get there and get some damage out. It's almost like 2v2 Astro battles, and you know, once the fight breaks out, it does not stop, because damage is currency, and you do not want your opponent to heal whatsoever. Capitalize off the hard work your teammates put out there. Now, Powerz won this battle last time against Precision, and Precision playing a little bit more passively off his left hand, using this opportunity to wrap, but Xplosive knows this is his opportunity to help his teammate as Precision takes free shots. I don't like the thought process there, putting himself between two players and just making it difficult for Acells there now 1v1. He's going to lose his teammate this round, his team this round, unless his squad mates on the other side can do something about it. But with the torque bow in hand, it's only a matter of time before eUnited gets to map point.
Real quick, Blaze, I'm going to go ahead and piggyback off of something you said a few moments ago, where you said that damage is currency. Well, right now, everybody in the world knows that currency is up and down. You can find the ability to find some inflation, find the fact that your currency might not mean as much. I think damage is the only recession-proof currency on the planet. As long as you putting out damage, everybody's good. Everybody's happy.
Yeah, it's going to balance out, okay, in the income later on, because that check will come if you are a high damage outputter, folks, okay? And that's keeping it stupid simple, as we're here in round number 9. eUnited can close it out now. Precision once again getting aggressive against Powerz, and I take it back. It was Powerz being aggressive against him, and he takes out Acells with the torque bow. And at this moment, it's only a matter of time. eUnited with control of the map. Can Hndles do something spectacular? Right in the wall, dodging the shots, but not for long. eUnited will get this series all tied up 1-1 after 5 straight rounds here on Tomb. They say we will not go down that easy, folks. Ooh, what a series we got, Colin.
I am so in love with it. And ladies and gentlemen, tied up 1-1. You know we are going to have the rest of the series starting off with Escalation right after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gears Pro League Split 3 Phase 1 Day 6. I'm Blaze, and I'm joined by the fantastic Colin. We are all tied up 1-1 in our series with Vanquish versus eUnited. We're heading into Vasgar Escalation next, but so far, man, you know, this series has been a close one. And Colin, if you had to give one word to describe it so far, what would you give it?
Intense.
I'm with that one. Okay?
You said one. You said one.
I did. Yeah, I did. And you said it with a lot of intensity. I just had to let it just mellow out a little bit, okay? Because it has been intense, folks. 1-1 so far. And we're heading over towards Vasgar. And so far in the Pro League, eUnited, they only play 2 maps. It's Harbor and it's Vasgar. They're 2-1 on Harbor, and they're 3-0 in Vasgar Escalation when it comes down to that game mode. On the flip end for Vanquish, they've played Vasgar 4 times so far, and they're currently 3-1 with their record, taking a loss to Hive in one of the previous weeks. So both these squads are going to be really good here, and we've seen them, and we've seen how talented they was in our last split when we were primarily focused on Escalation, Colin. But with, you know, we know Xysho is going to be the newest member here on this roster, and he knows his way around a game mode Escalation. Very talented player here. But when it comes down to both these squads, who are you going to give a leg up to?
Well, I want to give a quick stat to everybody, and this is a deep dive stat. It's one of those that you have to go back and be real nerdy about to watch every single broadcast we did to try to figure it out and try to get it for all the players at home. And I hope everybody appreciates the nerdy stat. When Vanquish won their major 2 majors ago, excuse me, they won Vasgar more than any other team. They had the best record. They had a 91 win percentage on it. When eUnited just won our last major, you want to know what map they won the most?
Vasgar,
and they had a 93 win percentage on the day.
By 2%, folks. Okay,
it was the difference. It was the difference, I think, fractionally of it was. Vanquish played it 2 more times and lost it one of those 2 extra times, which gave the 2 percentage points over to eUnited in the favorable column. But it's one of those situations where, if you look at these 2 teams, if you look at the success they just had in our majors, winning those 2 majors back to in those 2 ones that we had, this map became their staple. And therefore, this should be just as good, if not better, than our first two maps in this rotation. I'm looking forward to it. I think that this became their staple, and we are about to see two of the best teams that have ever played it go back at it.
And so I think the question we all have to ask ourselves, and to balance really the scale here, is because this eUnited roster has pretty much been together since the beginning, okay? They have made very few changes there. So you still have the core four of this team. On the flip end, VQ, this is the third rendition of this roster from having Vital, Bronny, and Xysho. And I guess the question is, does Xysho make them 2% better? Okay, can he make up the gap? Can he make up that deficit with the new squad? They haven't got as much reps in as some of the former teams, but the core is still here. And we are hopping into map number 3, Vasgar, eUnited versus Vanquish. And it's Kenny getting the first down on precision to kick this one off. eUnited on the COG squad, and they will be at the side with the better advantage to kick this one off. VQ send a majority of their members from C hill to A hill to get some control. But if these players fall, I think it's going to be a quick victory for eUnited. They got to hold on, Colin.
Yeah, what you see United trying to do right here, a couple of extra pressure shots there at the home hill. They're going to split back off toward the home-to-home advantage. They are going to have precision making it to the B hill. So it's not going to be over with right now, but Vanquish knows that they're going to continue to pressure out. Praized, I believe, is going to try to get into that spot first to the backside of the tank, but the issue is that Vanquish, they have sent all 4 players over here. This is going to be one of those situations where Praized is basically going to get sacrificed out here. They're going to move across the map now to that second half home hill area, and they're actually going to try to go for a mid-neutral in their opponent's home hill, which is, I mean, incredibly tough to do. And I would like to see them set somebody up at that overlook to be able to lancer out towards C and try to get their own home hill back with a couple of respawns.
Yeah, so, you know, we see them kind of pushing through the spawn down low, and they know that it is going to be 4 members alive on their opponent's side of the map. But if they win these fights 100%, Colin, they have to just keep rotating to get their home hill back and then back up to defend. Now, at this moment, eUnited, they have found themselves out by capturing this B hill. Now, they have to defend against this 2v3 fight, being a man down. It's no running away from this scenario. You'll just be taking free shots in the back. And eUnited cannot hold the line. And it's going to be Vanquish who gets set up the C hill and towards their home. But as I say that, Powerz is a one-man army stopping VQ from capping his A hill.
Yeah, and Powerz, the longer he's alive here, the better it is because the respawns will be back. I love the rotation back to that little L pillar right there for him to be able to take that cover. They've got a teammate with him as well to stop the Lancer angle from the middle of the map. The big fight to me is about to be 6 versus 3. You're going to see Xplosive have to hold off Acells B side of the hill to make sure that the pressure doesn't come back onto him at the A hill. But look at the way that, Xplosive, he said, I'm not taking this. I'm not taking this fight. I'm going to C hill.
And it was smart on Acells not to chase him, because if Acells would have chased him, he would have ran into 2 other players. So did not take the bait from Xplosive, and he will decap B, try to overextend the map, knowing that the squad needs the perfect play. They still have an opportunity at getting it. Acells needs to win his 1v1, and his teammates need to win the 3v3 fight at C, which I don't think is going to happen as eUnited lock in round number 1, and you know, in a controlling fashion at that.
Well, controlling in 2 minutes, controlling is almost 3 minutes can be in an escalation matchup, but you don't expect Vanquish to really give up a lot of positioning or give up that early triple cap domination. So that is as about as controlling as you can get on one of the best maps on the one of the best teams on the planet on one of their best maps. I think what Vanquish needs to be concerned with going into these later rounds is the fact that Powerz was able to twice in that round be a one-man wrecking crew, be able to take those hills, really control the pacing of that spot, and force Vanquish to make a lot of mistakes where they had to pressure up late or they had to pressure up from an odd angle to be able to help out their teammates. That is a beautiful job by Powerz and a terrible retake potential by Vanquish. So let's see if they can correct that coming into round number 2.
I'll tell you one thing that's special about having players like Powerz on your squad is that when your opponent sees that character model, they think twice. And sometimes by them thinking twice, it buys his teammates enough time to get into position where they want to be, because that's how fast eUnited plays, folks. Now, kicking off this round, it's a 2v2 fight at A hill and the B hill. Vanquish wasted no time capping up B to give themselves the advantage. But eUnited, the melee comes through, but couldn't connect with the blind fire. Almost got a double kill. Powerz cleans them up, and eUnited knows that they can disengage at B because they have themselves an opportunity to get some more points and make up this deficit.
Xysho tries to go for that overlook spot to see anybody. I like how how patient eUnited was at the home hill. They didn't put Powerz in a position where he has to win a 2v1. They actually rotate straight off of it, which I think is the right play call. And they're going to rotate toward B. The only problem is that Vanquish is holding court right now. They are going to be judge, jury, and executioner for a very long time over here. And they're not going to allow anybody to really get into those power positions to be able to Lancer out, be able to put pressure on anybody else. So they are going to play this to perfection. And they're going to be able to hold on this 2-to-1 hill advantage. That's just picture perfect by a squad that really does play their power side, not the weak side that we always like to talk about in the first half, very succinctly, very perfectly.
And we have to, during that round, we saw Powerz win his 1v1 at the A hill. He backs up, but in that moment, eUnited says, we need points. Let's press up towards B, but they had to deal with precision, and he missed no shots down there. And that double kill that he got so quickly allowed Vanquish to get the trip cap domination that round. So we want to give him a lot of credit for holding that tank side of the map. Both Tox get upgraded towards retros in this round, and we know El Capitan will be having that weapon in hand, put into good use. I do believe it will be Hndles on the flip end for Vanquish, who loves to keep that retro in hand. So we'll see who can put it to good use, but it will be very useful when it comes down to locking down some of these multiple lanes here on Vasgar. So as we kick off this round, it's going to be eUnited who choose to get the cap here on this hill. But, that little move that Xplosive does when it comes down to blind fire and on the other side of that cover, that's something that's very essential for them to cap the hill at this level of gameplay.
Xysho actually brings the retro into the B hill fight. He's going to be able to hold it off and make sure nobody can press up into it. eUnited, they leave it in the hands of Powerz to try to keep sway over the A hill. The 2v2 at B, I love the rotation by Xysho. He went for the 90-degree. He went for the power position and the actual extra Lancer angle. Opposite side of the map, you've got to fly now. You don't really have a spot to waste. You can't just hold off and stay here. Kenny's going to be called out. Powerz going to be called out. You are going to be caught in a little firing lane right here. Maybe Kenny should have just started running towards C to bring somebody off of that hill, but they don't do it. And in less than 1 minute, Vanquish finds themselves another round on the board.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Colin, but that just simply came from VQ winning their 2v2 fight on the other end of the map. And then those players of eUnited kind of getting flustered on which direction it is that they have to move in to get a heal. It seemed like they were kind of confused as they backed up there a bit, and VQ timed her just right.
That becomes one of those, what is the right play call? It's always easy to be a Monday morning quarterback. I'm sitting here looking at the overhead map, realizing there's not really many players in your way if you try to make that free sprint across the bottom of arrivals. Whereas they have to figure out very quickly, are they both still here? Is anybody holding bottom stairwell? Are they both up top? And they're going to be able to Lancer me out if I go for C. What is that play call? It's always easy to Monday morning quarterback, but right now, eUnited, they're trying to make the decisions real time and in live and living color. I think one of the things that we have to keep and stop taking for granted is just how quick and good the decision making is for all these pro teams.
I'm still surprised that eUnited haven't decapped this A hill. With it was only Hndles watching that map, and eUnited saw 3 members at B, so they knew that they had numbers at A, and they have just taken their time when it comes down to the capture of it. But it seems like it was working out for them as VQ, they disengaged to split their numbers back. They kind of lost focus on the battle at B, but look at where they did put their focus at. Their home hill, overextending the C, and it seems like they did put their focus in the right place.
Twice now, 2 players from eUnited have kind of gone for that wrap shot that's very infamous, where they get a little bit of damage and then they try to go for that extra up A. Xysho playing that to perfection. He gets hit with the first back A, plays it wide, hits 2 good shots, 2 big bricks there onto Kenny. Praized is all the way across the map in a 1v1. Maybe he needs to pressure up onto Precision and try to make something happen over here, because if he wins the 1v, it puts the pressure back on Vanquish to make a move across the middle of the map. I think you might even be able to rotate, I think, player number 2, Powerz, into the middle of the map to go for a big-time flank, because I don't think they're looking for that.
He wins those, Colin. That's open area, 1 pillar. He just needs to close the gap. You get precision in that open area, that's Praized, and that's his skill set. That's where he can take these battles, and we can see that he is having a confidence in his engagement, especially as Powerz is following up right behind them. And now this is the pressure which you was talking about, that pinch on VQ. Praized stays alive in this moment. Powerz steps up a bit, Botok in hand. We know he can put that to good use, but the first kill to go, the first player that goes down is going to be Kenny. And now eUnited, the setup is broken. Praized tries to hold his ground, but VQ angle him out. And now it's going to be a rotation towards the B hill. eUnited coming off respawn. They need to get the C hill back, but they will be dealing with 3 members of Vanquish.
They are just so unbelievably talented, Vanquish. I'm almost in awe at times watching them play the game because of the way that they were able to play back. They were able to play patiently. Kenny in the middle of the map was going for a flank and an extra Lancer lane in the area and just rolled right up upon by Acells. He took the 1v1 that he knew he had the ability to try to take care of, gets that kill, and then you saw just down after down after down come through for Vanquish. They are well in control of this map now. It was like that first round was almost like trying to get eUnited to show their hand how they want to play this first half. And now that they've seen the hand, they know exactly what they got to do. They know what's left for them to complete. And I think it's just going to get worse from here on out if eUnited doesn't learn how to throw, doesn't know how to throw a wrench into the spokes.
And you know what? VQ, they won 3-1 on the first half of Vasgar. They got the checkout spawn first round, second half, the most advantageous spawn here. I think they keep building off this momentum, but let's double back to the 3-1 lead they had on execution before they lost every single round right after. VQ, they're quick learners and they know how to adapt. So I'm pretty sure that last map is still fresh in their heads, and the big reason why they came out with so much fire in map number 3. But as everything is kind of slowed down at the kickoff of round 5, eUnited, I think they're going to put most of their focus at E. Them and Vanquish, this is where the battle is going to break out. But as I say that, Kenny spreads out. He has a few eyes towards mid-map as he's trying to get some numbers. Oh, he actually just had a lineup with a shot grenade to take that player off the cover. And so with that being said, VQ runs past it. They says, no, you will not cap this for free. Hndles through the shock, and he will be able to get the downs. And now things are starting to come crumbling down here for eUnited, but Kenny trying to make up for it.
Kenny trying to get that last little L trigger to come around in the back A. Doesn't get it. Powerz keeping the full red there onto Hndles. Trying to make him make a mistake. Hndles in this situation has been very good for a long time at this little box fight here at the mid-neutral hill. And that's exactly it. Patience and precision keeps him in control and keeps 2 hands on the handles of that E fight. Now the triple cap domination is starting to tick through once again. Vanquish saw the play. They read it perfectly. They said, you want to rush up the gut? Well, we'll bring our inside linebackers right down on top of that D-line, and we're going to stuff that thing behind the line of scrimmage. They do it perfectly there as they rush straight past that shot grenade after it's thrown, get the kill on Kenny, which opens things wide up, makes it 4-1, 1 round away for Vanquish to take a 2-1 lead going into the second half of our series.
Oof, so with all the football talk, man, Hndles like Warren Sapp with that little swim move around the cover off his left hand there, man. Coming out with that chunk, man. That was a big time play for him. 4-1 on the scoreboard for VQ. And to mention it again, eUnited has been undefeated so far on Vasgar throughout the Pro League. Vanquish was 3-1. And they're looking to give eUnited their first loss, and they're just 1 round away from doing so. We'll see if VQ can stay composed. I think winning this map in a 5-1 fashion sends a powerful message towards eUnited. You don't want them to start building some momentum going into map number 4, but as far as round 6 here, eUnited, they have the momentum kicking it off, winning some big-time fights here. F Hill locked in, E Hill currently locked in, trip cap domination shall come through without no one to be able to contest it. VQ stays in spawn. They know that. All right, well, we're going to have to win it on the checkout spawn this round.
I'm not going to lie to you. The play call on that round looked a lot like, hey, Powerz, you're going to have a 2v1. Can you just win that for us? And he's like, as calm as a cucumber, like, yeah, sure, I'll do that.
Yeah, I got you. No problem.
Because everywhere else, somebody was outnumbered. Somebody was out-advantaged on Vanquish. They didn't have the right play call for that. And it literally boiled down to it was like the first time Vanquish didn't win a 2v1, and it was Powerz' fault. Like, Powerz was like, yeah, I got you, baby. Don't worry about it.
You know, hey, and that's something that you can always, if you are a eUnited fan and things are looking gloomy during the series, you're like, oh my God, can we win? Can we do it? Powerz senses that, and usually momentarily in the kill feed, you may see him come out with a double kill. The possibility is always there. Acells connects with Incendiary Grenade. Man advantage for Vanquish. But the Lancer Fire from eUnited is a lot for them to handle. Kenny, a big reason of that, being able to keep multiple players' heads down, but Xplosive couldn't get out with the snipe. Kenny flanks around. He's going to be seen as well, so he's going to try to play for the decap, play for his life, and just be a nuisance on this side of the map. But Humpty Dumpty on top of the ledge here can fall off this hillside, and I don't know if he will with these back A's playing for his life, and he connects with another one. Give him the double kill. I talked about Powerz in the kill feed. You can always expect a double from Kenny in an intense moment as well when you need it.
Hey, thanks, Dad. That was really nice. I appreciate you for putting on a highlight reel for that. That was nice. Wave to the camera for me. I appreciate you. Make sure you give a shout out. 2-1 hill advantage in favor of Vanquish. I really like the pressure, though, from Vanquish. Already sending 2 players over here to the E hill. Praized is going to get taken down. They got to get to the F hill now and try to get a decap here. This is the situation that Vanquish is going to be able to really hold anybody accountable for. When you're behind in the situation like this, where you're able to force your team or force the enemy team to really push around the map and make a last-second ditch effort, this is where Vanquish excels, because once again, you're forcing them to play into your strength of Vanquish. You're forcing them to play into the CQC, and that's what's going to make life so easy for Vanquish.
Yo, now this ain't Def Jam Vendetta, but this is a battle for New York, and Acells comes through with the back A, and he will be able to lock in that E hill. And I think that was going to be a crucial 1v1 in this round with that main advantage. The other members of Vanquish knows that they have the Lancer Fire from their teammate coming across. If they win this battle, they have a great opportunity at getting the lead back, but they have to win it. Multiple going down, and now the pressure is back on Vanquish. And eUnited did such a fantastic job holding that hillside, and at this point they're just looking for Acells.
They found him. He misrolls out into Praized. Hits 2 big L triggers. Praized is going to take the back cubby corner. The shot's over the top. They're going to get him. The mishop. I believe that had to be a misclick on his half. Kenny's going to get the snipe. They're going to be able to catch up into this 50 seconds away from being able to get this round win. They need a 1 or 2 full set of slays right here. I'm not sure if we're going to see eUnited overextend unless they get probably 2 or 3 kills to go for another decap at the home hill of Vanquish. Right now, this is going to basically boil down to what we saw in Control, where eUnited is going to try to hold court, get 1 or 2 kills here, and force Vanquish into a bad situation. A great headshot out by Kenny is a good start. It's going to settle down that first retake, and in about 5 or 6 seconds when that player respawns and gets back into position, that next retake is going to come right back through.
You can even tell how good of a sniper Xysho is. He gives a stutter step to Kenny. Was like, I know exactly where you are. You're not hitting me with that one, but you're going to miss me with that one as well. And Xysho looking to make quick work. What? The Team P comes through from Kenny, throws Xysho off, and eUnited will be able to get round number 7 in the books. But man, homie hit the shadow clone on him for a second just to make that uncomfortable fight for Xysho.
I knew Jesus could walk on water, but my man Kenny just walking on air. You thought he was Michael Jordan out here the way he just walked on air right back up there. He said, boy, I'm coming straight back at you. Don't worry about it. I'll be back up there in a second. Don't worry. Ain't no heights too tall for me to reach.
Well, rather if you want to be like Mike or like Kenny, both are great inspirations out there to inspire to. Now, as we head here into this round number 8, Kenny is going to have to be a big factor to get this map all tied up for eUnited. And eUnited also knows that they're currently going to be on their good side as well, but to be consistent on your good side is hard. And with VQ losing these last 2 rounds on a map that they have momentum, I see them putting a lot more effort in this round. It's a must-win for him. Precision gets the snipe. Instant revive is there. EQ backs up the reset. Acells, does he make it out? He just might. Yes, he will. The reset is there, and now it just comes down to hitting body shots with the sniper, putting the pressure. Speaking of pressure, Praized applies it to Xysho, and now Precision just has to disengage. But I don't know how far he can go. 8 needs to get into the hill. He's going to step in, and it turns out to be perfect timing, Colin, but it's still multiple battles that need to be won for Vanquish.
Kenny with another back A, gets a couple of kills over there and helps them win yet another fight. They win the fight at E, solidify it up. It's going to be Acells at the home hill of eUnited trying to get this decap off. I want to go ahead and throw that out there. For a second, it almost looked like Precision was like What the hell is this weapon? How does this work?
What do I do?
I know he's great with an Asher, but he's looking at it like, this is way too large a caliber. The rifling is way too long. Somebody get this out of my hands. Let me get back into the fight. I'm a little thirsty.
Like a Botox at that point, okay? Just go think of another weapon. Do some, you know, quick LTs with the shotty as you got the scope in your hand. But the scope of this situation on screen comes down to Vanquish with 2 heals to their name. F heal, D heal. They got a cross from player 5. So currently Acells isn't totally alone in this scenario, but that stun messes things up a bit. Xysho wastes no time. The down, ooh, that was the down that he needed. He gets the kill, clean up. Acells is revived. Praized goes down, and it turns out that VQ, if they win the fight at D, player 5 and 2, they win this engagement, and I think it may be over. We're going to map 4.
I mean, right now, the triple cap domination is coming through. Kenny's going to try to lance her out, try to get back into the situation. They still have a point lead right here. So they're going to be able to just play this a little bit slowly, try to get these kills, try to push out from this position. That snipe should be coming up here momentarily. Xysho's going to be there. A lot of Lancer fire out. A beautiful wrap shot onto Praized. He's going to be able to finish that with that next shot. Kenny trying to make one more miracle happen here. Back A's out on his Xysho, letting him get a lot of his health back. He's going to fall again. That's going to be 2 straight kills for Xysho. Push back up into that D hill, Xysho. Get the decap. Keep putting your team in a position to win this round.
That's how you change the pace of the fight, folks. That little bot walk right there. Just go for the straight line. Forget the bouncing. Forget the wrap shots. Just hit the shot. All right. Kenny puts his team in a position down low to be able to contest for to keep the D hill locked in on this side of the map. But you see the pressure's coming through. VQ is trying their best to respond. On the top end, it will be eUnited in a 1v1 battle for E. They win the battles down low, heading to the F hill to try to get this one all tied up. I think they will without any issue. If VQ wins this round, it's off the back of a perfect play starting now.
Vanquish is going to put Acells into the power position. He goes in, tries to get these kills, but up over 240 points. There's not enough time to get across the map. That's going to be it for this one. Ladies and gentlemen, round number 9 is going to be revved up and ready to go here in our map 3 for the lead in our first series of the night between Vanquish and eUnited.
Are you not excited? Like, let's be honest, folks. We said this one was going to deliver, and so far it has tied up 1-1. We're on our final round of map 3. Who's going to get the lead? Who's going to take momentum as we head into Regency control? Hell, I don't know in this moment. It is honestly anyone's game. We see currently, and I believe in that first placement, it was an upgrade to the incendiaries, but now DQ has a decision on a center line weapon, and he says, hey, you know what? Let's get some frags on this top portion of the map. We'll see what Hndles can do. I think it's going to be Hndles maybe versus Powerz in that scenario, especially if it's going to be a 1v1. Or would it be in 2 big tower weapons? I'm going to assume that the squad split out into a 2-2 fight, but it's going to actually be a 3-1 fight geared towards down low. The 1v1 battle will be between Powerz and Hndles, as I thought for at E, and we'll see who can get the first upper hand in this final round of our map 3.
Right now, everybody kind of stacked up here over top of the sniper cells with the incendiary in hand. This is going to be that long range shock I talked about a few weeks ago. I think it was Taylor on the broadcast with me. You want to throw it to the left-hand side. You want to not allow any of your opponents. Where Praized is, not right here to there to his left. But you want to throw it to the opposite side so he has nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. But the good block by Kenny with his own shock stops them from being able to put them back into the situation so Praized can just basically back up and play again. But with the cap on the E hill and the win by Powerz on the opposite side of the map, the onus is going to start becoming on Vanquish. Long range incendiary doesn't find anybody. The utilities are out for Vanquish. Another flash comes in. Kenny backs all the way up, pulls Lancer, tries to get shots on, but there is nowhere to run and nowhere to hide because Praized isn't going to give up this positioning. They know they're going to have the power position because they have the point advantage, and it is up to Hndles to win a 1v1 against Powerz now. I think that's going to be the big factor, the big play. It boils down to this.
He gearing up for it, looking for an L trigger. Powerz even backs up, and Hndles says, hey, I'm in here. That's enough time for a decap if you ask me. I like the play from Hndles. It gives his team another opportunity at having more options for the fight down low. On the flipping, eUnited, they are disciplined enough to just hold what they have in this moment. I think Hndles takes this cover once again. Oh, hold up. That's a problematic. Some player cut back, but Hndles wins the fight. Gets himself another 1v1. Backs up. but he takes too much damage. But I think he still did his job winning that battle and makes this rotation easy for his squad and gives the win condition back on over towards the Swarm team.
It was almost like Xplosive gave up the F-Hill and the snipe over to the side of Vanquish. Good little flick there by Acells. Doesn't find anybody. Trying to find another one. Continues to expect them to pop up over the cover, but can't get it to go. eUnited actually gets the decap there to stop them from getting back in the situation, and they have flooded over toward the D-Hill. I love this play call. It took the sniper out of the hands of Acells. It's just perfectly read by Vanquish in this situation. They know what they got in front of them, and they can now press back forward. eUnited went big brain, and they end up finding themselves in a really bad situation. As you can see, player 7 Xysho is going to try to go for this decap on the E-Hill. He's going to get called out. The F-Hill is going to be a 1v1 between Powerz and I believe Precision opposite side, and Praized is going to press his luck here against Xysho. Now they're rotating back toward F. They're trying to get into the position to really win this. Beautiful play there by Praized to win one. Now he's got to worry about Hndles. Snub out. He's got every shot to connect. Do not test Dominic Santiago, and do not press a roadie Praized. He will show you how it's done and show out every time. eUnited, they come back, roar 4 rounds in a row, and win it 5-4 in round 9, map 3.
When it came down to the Battle of New York at the end, folks, we figured out who the king was, and he put out a highlight reel in that final 1v2 of the map to lock that hill in for his squad. Talk about staying perfect on Vasgar. Man, what a fantastic 4 rounds in a row for eUnited, folks. Whew, that's a performance. That's how you hold a record right there, and that's what makes them so good. That's Colin. That is 2 back-to-back maps where VQ have powerful leads, 3-1, 3-4, and they cannot just get another round.
It's one of those situations where it's hard to close out against the United already. And eUnited has the ability to continuously pull out a new strat, a little wrinkle, something that you're probably not expecting. They throw it out in that next round. You say, all right, if they do it again, we'll go with this play call. Then they throw out something else the next round. Okay, if they do it again, we'll go with this play call. They continuously kind of change it up. They don't ever really want to stay neutral. They don't want to stay standard, because once you do that, you give your opponent the ability to play back, play on their front foot really, and play pressure against you. But Blaze, I have got to ask you, and you got to be honest with me, all bias aside, is Praized the best Dom player in history? All bias aside.
All bias aside, okay? And granted, you know, I was a Dom player, but I do not compare as Praized. But I say that to say that I paid attention to the other Dom players who are on the squad. You know, when it comes down, the only other Dom player that I think even rivals Praized's performance in his time when he was competing in Gears of War has to be High Distortion. He was one of the original Dom players that I think of making that character, but we also called him High Supportion because he never put his Lancer away, and he had the most damage points of anyone in the league every single game. But that was then, and Praized has way more championships than High Distortion. And so I have to agree with you, Colin. I think Praized could be the best Dom player in history.
He's just a whole different animal. That is like, when you, it's, how do I put this? You know how when you play ranked, you damn near expect to see nothing but Bairds all night long because that's just the general populace's favorite character. Yep. It's like you see a Dom and you just have to check. You're just a little bit more afraid. You're like, is it? Okay, thank God it's not. Thank God.
Because the thing is, and folks, when it comes down to characters in Gears of War, historically, the most savage players played on characters like Barrett and Myra and Anya, the skinny characters out there. So when you saw those characters on the map, when we had so little, you knew that that was going to be a harder fight than somebody who was probably playing Cole, Hoffman, or Theron Guard there on the back portions of the map, unless you were getting trolled. But when it comes down to Praized playing on Dom, that's not a character that you look at and say it's going to be an easy fight, okay? It may be slower than most, but it's going to be a hard-hitting one, all right? So I definitely hear you on that one. But folks, we are all tied. Well, we're leading for eUnited 2-1 so far in the series, but we're about to see if we get it all tied up as we head on over towards Regency Control. And so let's talk about this one a little bit, Colin. Regency Control, when it comes down to both these two squads, they are very talented control teams, But do you think that, you know, Vanquish will have a leg up against eUnited? Because we saw how consistent he was on that first control map being District. Can that carry on over towards Regency?
I think what we saw out of eUnited last week in E-Days on Regency has to be the same eUnited we see tonight. One of the things that they have really suffered from is not getting to hills and not being able to get set up. They did a fantastic job of that on District. It was just the CQC, how close that map is, really came back to bite them in the situation where Vanquish started just wolf packing with 2, 3, 4 members in the same area. Regency is a little bit more wide open, and those long spawns, I mean, you might as well nickname those 1-800 call collect, because you are going to have to make a collect call and let your team know, look, I spawned on the opposite side of this map right now, because they are forever and a day away to rotate back into a fight. That means you're going to be able to set up much better. You're going to be able to push back into the fight a lot harder because you have to get everybody set right back up. I think this is one of the things that everybody has to be concerned with. Already, though, I like this. Acells is not going to get that. He's not going to get the M-bar for free like we saw Acells get it last night. They gave it straight up to him. They gave it straight up to him off the rip last night.
Well, when it comes down to Regency control so far in the league, Vanquish is 3-1, but on the flipping, eUnited is going to be, I believe, 1-2. So not a winning record when it comes down towards this map. We'll see if that play a factor. And you know, so far, I think it has, because we saw why eUnited was undefeated on Vasgar just a map ago. But so far, to kick this one off, it's been a bloody battle, but power weapon control in the hands currently of eUnited, and you see Powerz connecting with these shots. Almost gave Acells a fade, but instead he's going to give him a love tap there towards the back. One shot left in that, and he does put this weapon on his back. I think we'll see when he gets cleaned up if that one M-bar shot's going to fall off him. But for now, Vanquish needs to get these 23 points of time before we head on over towards the top right-hand corner of the minimap at info in our next rotation.
I'm pretty sure he made the smart play because when Powerz started getting lancered out, it's a little bit quicker to pull your snub back out. So you notice how he had Nasher and M-bar on his back.
Yeah.
He went for the snub rather than going back to his shotgun. He knew that he wasn't going to be able to take a secondary fight right there. So it was a quick pick over to the snub to make sure that he didn't drop that power weapon. But look at this. Vanquish already set up at the top right-hand side of your map, ladies and gentlemen. And eUnited, all 4 players are in a very small area. They're going to have to get in there and get into the face of Vanquish because there's not many Lancer lanes over the top of windowsills, my friends.
Nah, it's not many at all. Just a straight-up fight, and those are the fights that eUnited love the most on a level playing field, blow for blow. They win that battle, and they will be set up at infos. And now, looking at the setup on map, I think this new M-bar should be coming up here soon for Vanquish to be able to use in his next fight. But they're not going to waste no time to even wait for it. They know that it's most important just to get into these engagements and win this battle with the weapons they got on their back.
Acells, I mean, flies out to the backside, out toward Powerz. Kenny's trying to play back here. Once again, Kenny trying to play a position where he's able to use those back A's, that positioning to his ability. You see Xplosive trying to protect his teammate, finally takes the cover. It's exactly what Xysho wanted. He gets the one hit Acquita there onto him. Praized is up into the fight, trying to challenge once more. He's going to go down. 20-some-odd seconds left. Powerz is still here, though. He came right back off of this rotation, right where that close spawn is. I think the neutralization is huge here because you continue to put pressure onto the side of Vanquish. They're going to rotate back toward the M-bar. They're actually over-rotating back for that next hill, so this is another 10 seconds that eUnited can kind of mount up another 80-30 lead, about 50 points there to really make things very difficult, but they come off of it. They're trying to rotate across the top side of the map. They're actually going for a pinch right here to try to get the M-bar out of Acells' hands. Beautiful body shot there. He's going to go back for the revive. The team revives have to come through. They almost do, but they go down. Julie Brown and Praized will mount back up with, I believe, Powerz, Xplosive, Kenny, all at his side to retake this next hill.
Yeah, and the battle is still going on here, folks. You got BQ able to get 2 members in his hill towards the back on a flip, and eUnited knows that they have the height advantage having his back spawn side as they are trying to trickle down, putting lots of damage on these BQ members with a Lancer in the back coming in here from Kenny, making the fight for his teammates that much easier, but it's still a 3v3. The back A is missed. Xysho stays alive. They know they have a player down in front trying to bait out Powerz. they know that, hey, this kill will be ours, and they will continue to get points. Vanquish rotated early coming off that info hill down here towards gold, and they kind of knew as well, Colin, that eUnited was going to not get the scrap time on that other hill, that they were smart enough to rotate as well. And we're going to see little battles like that throughout the entirety of these maps, of the battle of when do we rotate early. Vanquish having a blunder there towards the back hill. You saw that player accidentally hit that Y button in the wrong direction, and he reached for the cash register. In the end, it will be eUnited cashing out on the rest of the points on this hill, but it just being 25 remaining. We're moving on over towards center statue where the M-bar spawns on the next, and it will be VQ with majority of their members on this side of the map. Let's see if they can win the 3v2.
Explosive trying to mount up a perfect shot right there. I mean, he was just hanging out waiting. Kenny's going to try to go for a miracle play. He's actually going to drop a fully loaded M-bar for somebody on Vanquish. They're going to be able to pick that up. It's going to go over to Acells. Good job getting it in the hands of Acells. He gets to the back statue as well. 5 seconds to go. The next retake is going to come through. Smoke is out. And I want to go ahead and call out a lot of people still hold on to the flash grenades because of the fact that they want to be able to get that easy stun and try to take a 1v1. I love that we see more and more teams starting to run in the smokes along with the flashes.
Yep.
Clog the sight lines, really make it hard for an opposing team to Lancer out against you and make your life hell coming back into that fight. Acells, he misses a few more shots from this M-bar though, and it might be all over, but trying for this retake.
Man, a well-placed smoke is something that is hard to get around, folks. And there are some players out there who always know a perfect position for their smoke in any given scenario, even if their team technically don't even need it in that moment. But you may always need a smoke if you can get it. But speaking of that smoke, it is eUnited, who just gave all the smoke that Vanquish can ever want when it comes down towards the statue hill. But they're gearing up for just a bit more as Xplosive stepping up to the fight. Knowing that you have squad mates here on the flank, he goes down, but it's going to be an easy revive for him as they clean up these kills around this statue and info area. One member left here for VQ with 24 points on his hill. They don't mind if they stalemate it, but Xysho hits a beautiful wrap shot there. He's going to reset for the next. If he even gets it next, Praized says, you know what? I'll let you have it. They're going to start setting up down low towards Fountain.
They got to find Hndles and Acells in the middle of the map. This push is more important for them to shut down from the middle because Hndles can really just disrupt the entire setup, the Lancer fight. They get a call out onto Hndles, and Powerz hits a pretty good shot. Misses that second one, hits the third pellet. Beautiful job. Whoever Lancered for him 3 or 4 bullets, that's all that you need sometimes for a guy like Powerz to make that fight that much easier. The flash gets the perfect stun. They Lancer back with 1 kill. Xysho trying to make a miracle, having another highlight reel. Explosive, though, continues to trade out with them. They have the down positioning toward the bottom of the map to try to take over the hill. It's going to be Kenny, though, mounted up inside the hill. The shock will go to the front, trying to stop those players from getting in. Lancer fire gets the down. He'll clean it up. They get the hill control, and this is big because take a look at the way that this is set up now. 130 points plus 60 is 190. That gets you down to 110. That's also a 100-point club over top of Vanquish, which then puts them in that back seat where they now have to fight a tooth and nail over everything, and they might start chipping some of them, like they might have to go see a dentist here quick, fast, and in a hurry if they can't get a break or a neutralization.
Yeah, man, you know, if your opponent's at that 200-point mark and you haven't hit that 100-point mark yet, shoo, you may be chipping away at your own teeth just out of nervousness there. But we'll see how VQ can handle that because eUnited has not let off the pressure, folks. They continue to lock in this. Fountain Hill, Vanquish trying to break through towards the top end of the map at info. They just cannot get through Powerz and Praized there in that scenario. Just too much action on that side of the map. Kenny gets the rest of that scrap time down low, and we're about to head over towards Couches, which will be in the top left-hand corner of your mini-map. You got 2 members of VQ there already set up, but on screen, Acells defending the flank against 3 members of eUnited. He knew that he had to go forward and take one. There was no backing up in that scenario, but now eUnited with a man advantage. They feel comfortable. They will continue to press, continue to collapse on the hill. But VQ, they just have to hold what they have, and they cannot find a kill in this scenario so far.
Powerz has to stay up on this windowsill right here. He's got a player in front of him and behind. Now he's got to worry about the 2 in front of him. They get 1 more kill. That should open things wide up. Another down on his Xysho comes through, Hndles, moves up, gets the chunk. He got the chunk. He goes for a weird trade where he's going to try to shot. He's going to be able to go for a shot revive. Doesn't get it. It gives it over to the side of eUnited. And this is where things are going to start getting dicey because now you are up over 200. And with 40 seconds to go, this is looking like 230 to 111. Once again, it's that very bad situation. Vanquish flash through. And the perfect retail would have come. That shot grenade not been thrown out yet. And again by Ken. He has really been able to control the way this map is played.
BQ, they will be able to wolf pack in and clear out this hill. 27 points remaining going in, and they're currently not getting any of it. They want to continue to fight. We will be entering our next rotation of hills as this is going to reset and we go back towards the bottom portion of the map. Both these squads fighting for power weapons, fighting for control. Kenny will be able to get those nades down low. And with 18 points still remaining on his hill, if I'm VQ, man, I would have been just kept the foot in here the entire time just to make sure I got everything that I needed. But they're going to have to worry about Rose Garden down low.
Yeah, Kenny's already down here, and Xplosive is going to get the one-hit acquit on Xysho, so now Kenny doesn't have to worry about it the opposite side of the map. Oh, give it over to Powerz. Give it over to him. Give it up. Give it up.
Drops it.
Oh, there we go. I was going to say, make something happen. Look at Kenny getting flown at by 3 players. Powerz with an M-bar in hand, sees the mark, gets the shot on. Now the next member of Vanquish to fall will be Precision, possibly Xysho if the mark comes through. Powerz not even needed after that first kill. Once they crack it open, like a good old Steve Weiser, they know it's late in the evening. They can sit back on a porch, prop their feet up in a rocking chair, and they can thank Powerz for all his hard work as they clean up the other 3 members of Vanquish. Acells will be the linchpin, though, coming through that middle door. He's going to have the 90-degree Lancer angle on those players played at the back of the Rose Garden. He just has to call out where the intel is. Kenny has to stay safe, though. He's going to be playing a defensive position here. All his job is to stay alive as long as he can. Any kills are jackpot for him. And he is used, he's putting on a clinic. Make this a whole YouTube video, Kenny, on how to hit back A's and make them absolutely fantastic.
Colin, it may be that time. Nah.
Oh no. Oh no.
Nah. Hey, goodbye. After that loss on Vasgar, 2 massive leads in the execution and in the escalation there. After Vanquish lost that, I don't know how they get back into this series, folks, okay? I predicted them to win, but after these last few battles of eUnited, they're 31 points away from victory in this series. Can VQ muster up the testicular fortitude that they need to overcome eUnited in this moment? We've seen eUnited make the comebacks. We talk about how even both these squads are. Well, VQ, now is the time for you to do something spectacular.
Incoming frag!
Kenny, long-range frag over the top, 2 frags out. Not going to find anybody with either of them, but it is going to push them up out of position. Here comes the retake ability. Kenny down first. Powerz will answer back with one of his own. But the double shot downs come through for eUnited in the front. The revive as well. Precision in front of 3 members of eUnited. That's a hard sell against anybody, and I don't see any wacky waving inflatable flailing arm 2 men in the area to help prove that sell true. He goes down, gives the hill over. 15 seconds left. Vanquish at this point has to just fly like chickens with their head cut off early on a Sunday morning because they know they're about to get breaded and fried, baby, because they got to get in the hill to at least neutralize it to keep eUnited from finishing this off 3-1.
And even if the wacky wiggly arm 2-man was out there, we would not have a breeze for him to even boogie down here, folks, okay? I don't think it's a breath of life here for the boys of VQ, but as I say that, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I cast a curse eUnited. Maybe it's intentional. Who knows? But I don't think it comes through for the series. Hndles gets one. Acells gets another. It's scrap time in that hill. We're moving down low towards gold. Vanquish will be set up. And folks, like we said before, they have to play perfect if they want to stay alive in this series. I don't see eUnited folding here.
Well, eUnited has to be able to get this next retake off because, again, 60 more points over. You're seeing yourself 293 to 200 and something or other. You can't keep giving up full hills. Power weapons in the hands now. Shot grenade. M-bar. Not sure if the frags are there as well. Kenny finds a kill. That's a big opening. 4v3 on the map right now. Nobody's going to be playing up through the bottom side of the map, so they have to have everybody in front of them. They know where all the players from Vanquish are going to be coming. 2 more players in the hill. It's going to be Hndles coming across the bottom of the map. Shock is out. Now here comes all 3 of them rotating up. Shots over the cover, gets 1. Now shots over the cover, get 2. Shots over the cover, can they get 3? They go down. 2 players from Vanquish left to worry about. The flashes are out. They wrap up these kills. They wrap up this game. Praized misses a big one. Misses a melee. It's a 2v1 down here as Vanquish rotates across the bottom. There's the hill. There's the kills. That's it. eUnited. They win it in 3-1 fashion after a dominant mid-round performance on Regency. They shut it down. They put up the velvet ropes and they say VIPs only back here, baby.
VIPs are only allowed in this area, and if anybody knows about the VIP life, is definitely going to be the boys of eUnited as they come out victorious in the series, folks. Man, it's one thing. It's one thing to be good at the game, but it's another thing to do it in style, right? And to do it with flair and to do it with so much confidence as eUnited, man. What a series from them, folks. Good job. They come out 3-1 victorious. But Colin, it was hard fought for them. But I think really when we kind of look back on the series, the storyline is just VQ not being able to kind of close out. That's really what it is. eUnited had so many comebacks throughout map 2 and map 3, and with those 2 comebacks that they had, that gave them all the momentum that they needed here in map number 4, Regency. We see some nice setups for Vanquish, but a lot of those team fights just wasn't going their way. They wasn't playing aggressive enough or together enough in some scenarios, and you can kind of see them feeling the pressure in their gameplay.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and say it, and I think a lot of people can go back and watch this footage to be able to really see just how good certain people are at this retake, and especially eUnited. They are pulling out what I've started to call the mullet retake, and it's going to sound silly to a lot of people.
Talking about.
It sounds silly. I know a lot of people are going to make fun of me because I'm from the South. The mullet's the first thing that comes to my mind.
Can I guess?
Go ahead, baby.
Is it them rotating through the mid stairs or the mid map and applying the pressure to take the top end?
No. A mullet retake is based off of your utility grenades. It smokes in the front, flashes in the back. They smoke out the front of the hill. Nobody can lancer you out. You throw flashes to the backside because once they can't lancer, they're going to rotate to the backside of the hill to await the push. They're going to be trying to get into a position to try to take that initial fight, try to take that sight line. So you smoke the front, you flash the back, you get up into somebody's grill. They're nice and stunned. You put them down. You make it look so very easy. 3 separate occasions on that map. You can go back and look at it. It was the second, the third, and the final hill. They smoked the front, they flashed the back, they cropped out a beautiful mullet. It was waving in the wind, baby. It might have even been bulletproof. I'm not sure. I don't know if there was any Ethiopian poisonous caterpillars out there as well, but they definitely did it with high octane velocity, violence, and momentum, baby.